The reason you're struggling to win games right now in Madden 26 is your defense keeps selling you. But luckily for you, in this video, I'm breaking down the top 5 defenses that you absolutely must be using to get more stops and win more games here in Madden 26. I will warn you though, if you skip out on any of these defenses, you could be missing out on the one that actually will help you out the most, and then your defense is going to still be bad. So I encourage you to watch all the way to the end. Let's jump right into it. All right, the first defense I'm going to show you is one you've absolutely never seen before. It's a crazy overload blitz from 3-4 odd. Let me break it down. All right, so if we come to 3-4 odd, we come into Tampa 2. Although you can do this out of a lot of different zone coverage-based plays, here's the setup, all right? So you're going to either overload blitz off the left or the right side. I honestly, it doesn't really matter, but you got to choose. So here I'm going to do it on the left. So we're going to shift our D line to the left, and then we're going to blitz that inside linebacker right there on that left side. So essentially now you're going to try to create this, what I call 4-on-3, because you're trying to get 4 defenders on the same side as 3 offensive linemen, all right? So if they just, and then all you have to do is really try to momentarily occupy the center. So if they take the snap, you try to get the center's attention, and you're able to see that's exactly what I'm talking about, where you just have 4 defenders on the side where they have 3 linemen, and they have absolutely no chance. What makes this better than a lot of other defenses is your defensive tackle will actually run into the center for you to where you don't even have to really get his attention, and you don't even have to do anything. You can totally get back into coverage. And the reason, again, why this works is because you double team here. You double team here, and then your man comes off the other side. They're going to have to start adjusting their, pass protection, doing something differently in order to block this. So again, we show it again right here before we end up just having them block their running back here. But again, you can catch people off guard a lot of the time just when they send 5 out. So again, same thing where you just have to use her over the middle. You want to guard the drag, you want to guard the spot route, or whatever route concept they have called. You're just able to see how fast that pressure is because you're overloading them off of one side and making it impossible for them to block, all right? So again, you can do it to the other side as well, but right here, we're just going to stay on the left here, and we're going to have them block their running back. Now, when they block their running back, obviously that's going to add an extra man to protection, so a lot of the time he's going to be able to step up and block the blitz, but he's going to get shedded too fast, right? Because he's a running back, he's going to get absolutely destroyed by, a defensive or linebacker. That's exactly what I'm talking about, where he just sheds him to the ground very easily, and we're able to still get that very quick pressure. So honestly, you would probably rather just have them block their running back because he doesn't really add a whole lot to the pass protection anyway. He just, that's a putrid effort, and but we're still able to get really quick pressure. But the reason why you want him to be blocked really is because now they don't have an extra guy they can just quick throw out in the flat. So it just makes defense pretty easy when you're able to just, overload them off of one side. But again, we can go to the other side here, blitz that, linebacker, and then you just have to switch the guys in coverage. So put him in a crow flat, blitz B. Right, so you see what I did, drop the other man into a crow flat, blitz the linebacker on the same side, and so now it's just doing it to the other side, where you're just going to see it's the same thing. You just have 4 guys on the side where they have 3 linemen, and then you're just going to be able to come in free. So that's the counter that you can start using when they shift their line in one direction. You could just come off the other side, right, and play that kind of cat and mouse game with them. And obviously, like I showed you earlier, if they block their running back, he's going to step up and block that linebacker, but then he's just going to get shedded very quickly. So 3-4 odd, a defense you've probably never heard of, never seen run before, but it's a really good blitz that you should start mixing in because no one's really seen it before. All right, I know all of these content creators give you all these defenses that you have to make 10 adjustments on, and your adjustment game just simply isn't there yet. Let me show you a great defense that doesn't have you make a lot of adjustments, but still very effective. All right, so you can actually do this from any cover 3 cloud defense in the game. I just like it here from nickel through 3 odd. That's kind of the defense that I like running the most. But all you have to do, and make sure you have the right settings, so make sure you have your safety depth and close with your width and pinch. That makes this a little bit easier. But this is just a simple defense. It's just cover 3 cloud, and you're going to be trying to switch stick. If you guys watch Civil, you know how much he loves this kind of coverage shell, and I love it too, because if you play me or you watch me play, you guys know I just sit in cover 3 all game and we switched it them. They know it's coming and we still just beat them because they can't make reads after the snap. So they're just going to be in a random pass play, and this just requires you to get good with another skill. Quick adjustments are important, but actually switch sticking is even more important. Let me make sure I don't have switch stick delay turned on. And yes, I have it on slight. It's crazy how I just play this game too much. I could just tell immediately that my switch stick wasn't registering as fast as I needed to. But yeah, make sure your switch stick lay on none. That's something else that's important to this. So you can switch as fast as possible here. And then you're just taking away routes. Again, this is totally dependent on what play they're calling, where you need to be with your user. So again, right here, kind of recognize their play. In this play, I don't even really need to switch stick. Like, I really didn't. That was just not a great play. Sometimes you could just have a good user over the middle of the field and take stuff away. So we go through it again. They're gonna do this little stupid motion. I'm just gonna use their Chimera, and then I'm gonna come over and kind of take away that crosser as it runs across the field. So again, it's just about recognizing after the snap what play and what route concept they have called. Right here, they're calling a screen. So obviously you have to come down, sniff it out pretty quickly. And so again, this is a defense where you don't have to make any adjustments pre-snap. I mean, you could man up somebody if you wanted to. I'm not saying you don't have to, you can't make any adjustments, but you don't have to. But what you do have to do is have a good user and have a good switch stick. So it's kind of a trade-off. Do you want to master quick adjustments, or do you want to master like that? That would be a pick. They call it tight end attack. We bag everything. So I feel like that's a pretty simple breakdown. All you need to do is get in practice mode, practice your switch stick, and let me show you the best way to actually improve your switch stick, so I don't leave you guys, without a tip here, right? So you're just gonna see, we're gonna spy off the pass rush, which is gonna give them all day to throw, obviously, right? And so now we're just gonna switch stick them and make sure that their route bounces don't get open, right? Just make sure that there's no one, there's never a time where they can just throw a pass and we wouldn't intercept it. And this is a hard drill, right? It's hard to defend route bounces because it's hard to switch stick, right? And so when it's hard to switch stick, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to defend route bounces, but really just trying to step in front of all these guys and taking away all these different reads. And then eventually you're just going to have to throw the ball away. But that's a great drill. You get into practice mode 10, 15, 20 minutes to start your gameplay session here, and you're going to really be able to improve your switch stick because you're going to have more control over, where it switches you want to, and you're going to get a better feel for it. But the simple defense, cover 3 cloud, don't really make any adjustments, and depending on what route concept they have called, what play they have called, that's where you need to be with your user, and it saves you a lot of stress making adjustments pre-snap. All right, if you're enjoying those first 2 defenses thus far, go down below in the comment section, comment free. I'll send you a free guide to dominate Madden 26. Let's jump right back into it. All right, this next defensive formation that I'm gonna show you is honestly crazy. It allows you to contain the quarterback really well, but also get quick pressure on stationary quarterbacks. Let me introduce you to Dime 2-3 Will. And I lied, the formation name is actually Dime 2-3 Sam. I forgot, I mean, it's literally the same thing, but we're gonna come into Dime 2-3 Sam right here. And the first defense, like I said, to be able to contain the quarterback is from DB Fire 2, all right? If you guys watched the MCS, you probably saw Astro rolling out with his quarterback all game, right, and like breaking contains, and that's fine, like that's cute, but like if you just put your slot corner in a contain, like that's done for, really, like unless they just have like a 99 speed quarterback or something crazy. But a lot of the time these slot, like when they roll out, the slot corner is the one in the contain. What makes defensive linemen so garbage in contains is you can just double team them, right? And so when you can just double team the contain, you're just pretty easily going to be able to neutralize it when you're in offense. But the slot corner being in the contain eliminates that, right? Because now you're going to see when he tries to roll outside the pocket, he's really going to have nowhere to go a lot of the time. That time the slot corner got blocked, he got chipped up. So there is some, randomness and some fluke that comes into this game. But for the most part, it's like him being the slot corner, being the one in the contain. I actually wish he would move outside a little bit. You really want him to be right there. That's probably why he got messed up on that play. But like when he's this far outside, you're just gonna see we're pretty easily gonna be able to contain the quarterback. Tyler Show, I'm pretty sure, has a little bit of wheels. He can move a little bit too. So it's like you're gonna pretty easily be able to just contain this quarterback here with this particular blitz. But here's the thing, a lot of people, they don't actually roll out to the left here, because this is what's going to happen. The quarterback basically is going to do a 360. It's like this every year. If you're right-handed, you do a 360 when you try to get out to the left, and then vice versa. And so that's why if they have a right-handed quarterback, you really don't even need to do this on the left side. You really just need to do it off of the right. So I would just maybe drop him into a zone, do something like that, contain off of this side, move this man outside, and now you have exactly what we're talking about, where this is only a 4-man blitz. and you're going to get some pretty good pressure, but you're still, like I said, going to be able to contain this quarterback here because you have your slot corner all the way out there, and he's going to maintain good depth and good leverage out there to be able to contain the quarterback. So I know a lot of you guys struggle maybe in franchise with containing the quarterback, but when you put your slot corner in contain, it's going to be a lot more consistent of your ability to really defend those, kind of rollout type of players and make it a lot harder for them to just break your defense. But we're going to come into free safety zone blitz here from Dime 2-3 Sam, like I said. And this is unique in itself too, because you're sending 2 off the ball players. And so as we know in this game, that's another blitz meta. So really all you really need to do here is get the attention of the guard and try to move him inside. So I take the snap, try to move him inside, and then you just see we have another man coming in completely free because it's a delayed rush. It's a delayed rush that's just fast enough to get quick pressure on the quarterback, right? So you see this is a 5-man protection, obviously against a 5-man blitz. I kind of turn these linemen inside, just get their attention, force them to double team, and then 22 is able to come in free from that safety position, right? And so you're kind of just using these guys as a decoy. Now, if you wanted to put hard flats in the field, you could certainly do that. You could do whatever you wanted to do with this coverage, all right? But the bottom line is you're just sending your safety. So move these guys inside, let the safety come in free. You can switch stick like I told you earlier. So we're gonna go through it again and I'll show you, like if I was, playing serious, kind of how I would set this up. Always make sure you press RB and right stick up in obvious passing situations to pass commit your defense. But if I was defending this play, right, turn these guys inside and then switch stick here to take away their zig. Switch stick onto that hard flat, come back inside, and you honestly might be able to get a pick 6 on that. So again, boom, turn 78 and 77 inside, and then let Harrison Smith come down as fast as possible and go make that play. So, like I said, kind of a unique blitz. Like I showed you earlier in the video, running backs have a hard time blocking safeties, linebackers, defensive linemen. So even if they block the running back, that's fine for us here. But it's really just the mechanic of moving the guards into the center inside so that you can bring a safety from off the ball and go get the quarterback on the ground in a hurry. A really great blitz. Another one that no one's really seen before, but you really need to start adding into your defensive repertoire. Again, from Dime 2-3 Sam. All right, and before I jump into the final 2 defenses that you're absolutely not going to want to miss, I again encourage you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down defense tutorials just like this every single day. You're on Madden 26, and you're not going to miss out on any of the content I drop. Let's jump right back into it. All right, this next defense is one that was kind of taking over the MCS a little bit. Henry was running it in the Madden Bowl, and I tested it out myself, and it's really good. Let me introduce you to nickel 3-3 Cub. All right, so if we come into nickel, we come into 3-3 Cub. Okay, the play is going to Mike Blitz 0. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to stand right here. Or take Cashman. We're going to shift our D line to the left here. Now, the thing about Cub, it's symmetrical, so you could shift them to the right and really get a similar result. But I've tested this. I think that shifting to the left is a lot more consistent. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to shift to the left. Then we're going to drop this defender right here and do a curl flat assignment. All right. Now, as far as what you want to do with your coverage, if you want to run man coverage, if you're playing like franchise, you have really good corners, DBs, I would recommend man coverage, obviously. But if you just want to run, like just drop this man into a curl flat zone, that's going to be perfectly fine for you. So what we're going to see is we're just going to call it like this. Leave your user blitz. This is the key. But right off the snap, press D-pad to the right to be able to D-pad switch stick onto this curl flat. If you use the right stick to switch stick, like I told you earlier, it's not going to work because your man is in a blitz angle. Right, but we stand 2 yards over the center, take the snap, immediately press D-pad to the right, and then you're able to see you're going to get that pressure right there off the left side. And let me go into practice mode and show you, yeah, it's crazy, I know, right? But you're just going to see, we're going to go instant replay. Why does this work? Because again, we create the same 4-on-3 advantage that I was talking about earlier, right? We have 3 offensive linemen right here. We run this man, our user, into the center because we switch off of him and he's already in a blitz angle. And then that creates that 4-on-3, which allows for this man to come in free off the edge. This is another blitz that no one's really seen before. And if they don't set adequate pass protection, they're not going to be able to block it, right? Because you're able to see because 75, the man that he was supposed to be blocking, right, the outside linebacker, because he drops out, he is forced to double team right here, right? And so again, that allows our man to come in free off of the edge, right? So this time we're gonna have them block their running back, just, you know, so you can see that, right? But like I told you earlier, it's like these running backs, they're just not good enough. They're not strong enough. And yeah, they just can't really block. Now, if you know they're blocking their running back, you could like put this man into a hook curl, right? But that would only be like if you know for certain that he's, you know, going to be blocking. They've been doing that all game because they can't handle the heat, right? So again, same thing. This time you could actually, though, D-pad switch stick up, press D-pad up to switch stick onto the hook curl, right? So take it, D-pad switch stick up now, and you see that's exactly what I'm talking about. Where, dude, these running backs, they will step up to block these blitzes because they have to, right? Because someone comes in free, but they just have no chance. They just get ran right over, and it's just easy pressure. And you see I'm already now over the middle of the field with my user. So a 5-man rush against a 6-man protection comes in free, and I'm immediately back into coverage with my user. You're literally getting the best of both worlds. You're able to defend the flat very easily with your linebackers. You're able to defend their zigs, and then you're back into coverage here to defend this in route, and then the quarterback's already on the ground by the time anyone even has a chance to get open. So this is another defense because you're taking advantage of the same concepts that I've showed you time and time again in this video: overload blitzing and switch sticking, right? That's kind of the name of the game here. You're going to be able to get quick pressure off the left side, regardless if they block their running back or not, from nickel 3-3 Cub. All right, I know you're tired of defending the meta like bunch, trips. It's literally every game, and it's so nauseating to play against. Let me show you a great defense to slow that down here from nickel 3-3 odd. All right, so the defense that I'm talking about here from nickel 3-3 odd is going to be cover 6. All right, you're going to come to cover 6. You're going to choose your play. Now, this is great, especially against the meta route concept, right? Street corner flat. This has been the meta in every Madden I've played since I started playing, right? And there's a good reason for it. It's hard to defend from a lot of different regular defenses, but we break through with, you know, like an exotic kind of matching defense like this, it's going to be a lot harder for them, okay? And you're going to see why. I'm actually just going to put my controller down or use a defensive tackle, because you're able to see, you can kind of do that. If they call this route concept, no one gets open. We're matching onto everything. Well, I mean, maybe that dig route gets open, but that's why you have a user on the field, right? I did put my controller down. Maybe you don't want to do that, but you're able to see the corner route is absolutely strapped up, the flood concept, which is really what I'm talking about here, right? You're able to see, we're able to stop the out route with our quarter flat. The corner route gets guarded pretty easily by this outside quarter. The inside quarter takes this streak up the field. And again, you would just user this man right here and take away their, you know, kind of backside dig, if that's the route concept that they wanted to, you know, add on to it. But we're going to, you know, just user pace right here. We're going to switch, boom, and now we're just pretty easily able to take away this backside dig. So that's, again, what I'm talking about, where I'm talking about switch stick. Right? You have to be ready depending on what route concept they have called. That's with any defense. If you're not switching right now, you're not winning games, because you're able to see how we have the flood concept taken away perfectly. We just have to make sure we're doing a good job of pretty much sitting on this backside dig and kind of taking it away very, very easily but easy defense, right? But that's not really the only route concept that's annoying to play against, especially like if they decide to run more of a trips formation. So let's see if we have one here in this playbook. We're going, yeah, trips, tight end, flex. This is actually kind of a meta formation, right? And so we're going to come into, I mean, we could talk about any play, but this play, motion wide post, is one that's kind of meta, right? We understand that. So we're going to come right back into match coverage. Anytime they're in trips, I like running match. So this is pretty much what we're going to do. We're just going to let them bring their guy in motion, and we're going to be ready to switch to run out here and then take away that post route. We switched it on to Harrison Smith. That's really good defense to be able to pretty much defend everything, right? To defend their post route, to defend their, you know, little return route here. Look at this defense on this route. We're pretty much sitting on that. Then we come down on Harrison Smith, take this away. We have a guy trailing underneath of it for the, you know, tip interception, and they're able to, again, take away this route across the field. So this is a route concept in a formation from trips where slant post or something like that, right? So we'll just actually call slant post right here, right? And then maybe have them run like a flat, something like this, where you can pretty much just switch stick here, take that away, and then switch stick to guard that post right across the field, right? Whether you want to switch it going to the inside quarter on that side, or you just want to follow with your user. But I mean, this is just perfect defense, match coverage to be able to kind of just defend a lot of their meta route concepts that they like to go through. Why is it not putting him on a slant? There we go. All right, put him on the slant, right? Take the snap, switch stick here, take that away. Then we switched it onto Harrison Smith. And that's why switch stick take practice. I tried doing it a few times right there, and they didn't let me. Let's see if I can actually get it here, even though I'm holding freaking 2 controllers. But we're going to see if we can get it. Let's see, we're going to put him in that zone. Boom, take it, switch stick here, switch stick. There we go. And then we're just able to kind of take everything away. So this is a great defense to be able to stop those meta type of concepts. Shriek corner flat from, bunch formations, auto motion wheel routes, kind of slant post here from trips formations, right? Because essentially your guys are going to be starting out in zone coverage and then matching or converting on demand coverage onto their routes as they start running across the field. And the best part is you can, add on to that with your switch stick by being in the right place at the right time. All right, if you enjoyed that breakdown of the top 5 defenses you need to be using here in Madden 26, again, I encourage you to go subscribe because I break down defense tutorials and tips every single day here in Madden 26, and you're not going to miss out on any of them. But go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can get access to my full Defensive Vikings ebook, which actually features all 5 of these formations that I talked about in this video. And it's a great way to, transform your defense because you can save the ebook on your phone. You can use code YouTube to get 20% off, and I can't wait to transform your defense even further than I did in this video here in Madden 26. I'll see you over there.